She handed me eviction notice at my own wedding. She didn't know I owned the building. The morning of my wedding was the first time in 11 years that I woke up without that familiar knot of dread coiled somewhere beneath my sternum. 11 years of navigating my mother's moods like a sailor reading storm clouds. 11 years of swallowing sharp words, of editing myself before I spoke, of performing a version of myself that was smaller, quieter, and more palatable to a woman who had decided very early on that I was the difficult one, the inconvenient one, the daughter who asked too many questions and took up too much emotional space. That morning, though, the knot was gone. I lay in the hotel suite that my fiancé Daniel had booked for me and my bridesmaids, watching the early light press itself through the ivory curtains, and I felt something dangerously close to peace. The kind of peace that comes not from the absence of problems, but from the quiet certainty that you have built something real, something that belongs entirely to you. I should have known that feeling was a target. Let me give you the architecture of my family so that what happens later makes complete, devastating sense. My mother, Renata, is a woman who was once very beautiful and never quite recovered from the moment the world stopped treating that beauty as currency. She married my father, Gerald, when she was 22, and she spent the following 3 decades converting his moderate success in commercial real estate into a personal mythology in which she was the silent genius behind every good decision he ever made. When Gerald died of a cardiac event 8 years ago, he left behind a modest estate, a paid-off house in a suburb of Cincinnati, and 2 daughters, me, Sylvia, and my younger sister, Brenly. Brenly was the one the family loved without conditions. I want to be precise about that, because it matters. It was not that my mother loved Brenly more in some quiet, private way that she tried to keep from me. It was that the favoritism was architectural. It was built into the structure of every family gathering, every holiday, every conversation about the future. Brenly's college tuition was paid without discussion. Mine required an annual renegotiation that my mother treated like a hostage situation. Brenly's apartment in her mid-20s was subsidized quietly and generously. When I moved to Chicago at 24 to take a junior position at a property management firm, my mother told our extended family that I had abandoned the family home and could not be trusted with responsibility. What I had actually done was leave before the environment finished hollowing me out. Chicago was difficult, and then it was formative, and then it was extraordinary. I worked with a ferocity that surprised even me. Because when you have spent your entire childhood being told that you're the problem, you develop this particular kind of hunger that has nothing to do with greed and everything to do with proof. I wanted evidence. Concrete, undeniable financial evidence that I was not what my mother had decided I was. Click the link to hear the full story.